Appreciate the chance to be here with Central Confinement today and go over the heater. We are pretty proud of the VariFlame heater that was developed just a few short years ago. And we did a lot of things in the development of this heater that I think are some of the features and benefits that we're going to cover now, make it an advantageous type of product. For instance, we went to the voice of the customer. We talked to a lot of maintenance and service technicians and people to give us ideas of what were their biggest concerns about heaters, and we incorporated those things into the heater line. So with that in mind, we have 3 surface types or shell types on the heater. This is a red powder coated heater. So what we do is we start with galvanized steel heater. After we punched all the holes, we powder coat it to extend the life of that. So you can take, this is the mid-range heater with the red powder coating surface. If you want to be a little more economical, we make it with a galvanized cabinet, or you can take a step up and get all stainless. So that's one of the first things that we wanted to do is make it multiple options for people in terms of durability. The next things that we wanted to do, and you'll hear more about the durability and the materials used in the heater throughout, but one of the next things we wanted to do was make it easy to access. So a lot of heaters, some of our former heater lines had a door on each end, and typically you would open the wrong end. So with this heater, we put the door on just one end, and when you open that, you can also use these small hinge keepers and take that door right off for ease of maintenance when you're working on it. When you go to working on the heater, well, I'm going to take a step back and go into, when you purchase a complete heater, you're going to get several components. So the first thing that comes with it, mounted inside the box, caught in there, but he will come out, is the deflector. So this deflector then gets bent and positioned on the front of the heater. So you can make it a straight deflector, you can make it a Y deflector, or however you want. It goes over this opening here, and you'll see these are all keyholed out. We just use a 1/4-inch nut driver, and you'll hear more discussion on 1/4-inch nut driver throughout our discussion here today as well, because we used a 1/4-inch nut driver for all the stainless screws that we use to build the cabinet of the heater. We also use this for mounting of different components inside the heater. So whenever this deflector gets made, it's all keyholed out. That'll just fit over top there. You bend it to the direction you want, slide it in place, and tighten it up. So that's the deflector on the front of the heater. Now we're going to go back to the componentry that shows up when you purchase the heater. Besides the deflector, you're going to get a bag of components, including an electrical cord, suspension chain, a sediment trap for screwing into the side of the heater to bring gas into it, and a valve, eye lags for hanging it, and J-hooks for the top for hanging the heater. So you should be fully equipped and ready to go with the heater. You don't have to buy any other additional components to put this thing to work. And then finally, and we strongly recommend you remove this before you start the heater in operation, it comes with a user's manual. Inside the heater then, there are several features that again go back to our voice of customer, doing things that make it easy to work on and more durable. So several things that we heard over and over again in our discussion is we see wires corrode in the environment. In a hog environment, it's very challenging. So the wiring harnesses that we use are all Teflon coated wires, and then the wire itself is a tinned aluminum. If you go to a chart of the materials themselves and what would be the most corrosion resistant, those are the materials that we found are at the top of the charts, most durable and able to handle the environment we're working in. Likewise, the burner box is totally enclosed and sealed, so we keep the dust and the corrosion out. And then we went back to trying to make all the componentry easy to access and work on. So again, 1/4-inch nut driver, we loosen a couple of the keepers that are keyholed out. When those are loosened up, you can simply pop out a component for easy replacement. So all the 1/4-inch componentry for access and working on it. Then finally, to make it a variable rate heater, this is the on-off model of the variable rate heater. To vary this heater, so if we have a big space, we can set it to full on, which is with this gas valve at 250,000 BTUs, or we can ratchet it back. So if you're in a smaller environment, fewer square foot, you don't want your heater to burn and heat the room up extremely rapidly and then turn off, because you're going to have those on-off cycles and your ventilation system is going to remove that heat that we just added. So by ratcheting this lever down, you can take it all the way down to 50,000. One of the advantages of that for people like Central Confinement is they don't have to stock multiple components from multiple sizes of heaters. This heater covers the full range from 50,000 to 250,000. And likewise, farmers out on site, they can get exactly what they need with one heater and one set of spare parts in their tool crib. So the next thing that we did with this heater that was in many ways revolutionary in my mind is to get that 50 to 250, it takes a burner apparatus like what we see here where it's triangular shaped. So that allows for air penetration from several locations to go in and handle the higher or the lower burn rates. And then we added a silicon nitride igniter that's just in front of this gas distribution. So the gas distribution is a full 4 inches long with multiple holes, and the igniter sits in front of that. When that silicon nitride igniter goes to try to light the heater, it'll get hot. And this device, this silicon nitride, is way more durable and tougher than what several of our older, more ceramic-based types of igniters were. So that's really helped us to have a longer life type of product there. So then finally, some of the things, heaters, they're in a tough environment and you're going to see them experience, challenges, particularly this time of the year. We're going to go into some maintenance and upkeep things in a few minutes here, but the display box, the burner control unit that we have up here is set up with a series of lights, and those lights have codes with them. So for instance, there's a blue light that will flash 1, 2, 3, or 4 times depending on the problem that the heater's experienced. The blue light all deals with light, or with airflow rather. So the airflow, then, if you have inadequate airflow or the sales switch is not proving that it's got air moving, the blue light will be that indicator that you can go to. If we have gas flow problems, that's all based on the yellow light. Then of course there's a green light when the system's working properly, and a red light if it's failed. So with those things in mind, it makes it easier to troubleshoot, and all that information is on the back side of the door that comes with the heater, so you can look up your codes for what